Vice President Kamala Harris pledges to help Vietnam in South China Sea, accusing Beijing of bullying its neighbors. World Bank forecasts Vietnam's GDP to grow 4.8% in this year. Prime Minister asked for continued support to Ho Chi Minh City during pandemic peak. Powerlifter Le Van Cong wins silver at Tokyo 2020 Paralympics. Hello, this is FBNC News bringing you the latest updates from Vietnam. Now, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris met Vietnam's top leaders on Wednesday, offering support in several key areas, including the enhancement of its maritime security in an effort to counter Beijing's increasing assertiveness in the South China Sea.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris took aim at China again on Wednesday, accusing Beijing of bullying its neighbors in Southeast Asia. Harris is currently on a diplomatic tour of the region in the hopes of countering China's influence there, and this marks her second broadside in 2 days aimed at Beijing.
We need to find ways to pressure and raise the pressure, frankly, on Beijing to abide by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and to challenge its bullying and excessive maritime claims.
Harris forged ahead with her trip to Vietnam despite delaying the visit due to a health scare. The U.S. government blamed that delay on reports that someone in Hanoi may have been targeted by Havana syndrome, a condition of unknown origin with symptoms including dizziness, nausea, migraines, and memory lapses. Harris also pledged 1 million COVID vaccines to Vietnam after a similar donation by Beijing. Beijing had attempted to stage its own diplomatic coup just as Harris's trip was delayed by scheduling a surprise ambassador meeting in Vietnam. Chinese state media has accused Harris of trying to drive a wedge between China and Southeast Asian nations. During an earlier stop in Singapore, Harris accused Beijing of using coercion and intimidation to back its unlawful claims in the South China Sea. China has established military outposts on artificial islands throughout the sea. Meanwhile, Vietnam and several other nations also lay claim to parts of the waters, home to crucial shipping lanes, gas fields, and rich fishing grounds. A White House official says Harris has pledged to support Vietnam's maritime security, including through visits by U.S. ships and aircraft carriers. Harris is also expected to establish a new U.S. embassy site in Hanoi in an effort to expand the relationship between the two countries.
The World Bank has projected Vietnam's GDP to expand by 4.8% in 2021, 2 percentage points lower than its previous prediction in December 2020. The figure was released at a press conference held on August 24th to announce the latest edition of Taking Stock, the World Bank's biannual update on Vietnam's economic performance. The update highlights impacts on the economy associated with the most recent COVID-19 outbreak and the mobility measures adopted by the government to contain the pandemic. The report suggests that the authorities should address the social consequences of the COVID-19 crisis by improving the depth and effectiveness of social protection programs. They should also watch out for rising risks in the financial sector, while greater attention should be given to fiscal policy, since policymakers will need to find the right balance between the need to support the recovery of the economy and the necessity to maintain a sustainable level of public debt. In addition to analyzing the recent trends of the economy, this edition titled Digital Vietnam, The Path to Tomorrow focuses on what Vietnam needs to do to realize its ambition of becoming one of the most advanced digital economies in the world. The COVID-19 crisis has accelerated the digital transformation of the local economy, as an increasing number of businesses in Vietnam are now offering their services online. The government has also enhanced the digitalization of its procedures and databases. Meanwhile, during a working session on August 26th with authorities of the Ho Chi Minh City, the largest COVID-19 hotspot, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính required the city to continue with drastic prevention and control measures and study a plan to relocate residents from densely populated areas. He said Ho Chi Minh City must ensure sufficient supply of food, social welfare and healthcare services for residents during the lockdown period to curb the spread of the pandemic. Ministries and agencies were also required to help the city at this peak time in the fight against the pandemic and continue giving priority to the city in vaccine supply. Chairman of the Municipal People's Committee Phan Văn Mãi said the traffic in the city has decreased by 90% compared to the early days of social distancing. The municipal authorities have worked with suppliers to bring goods to communes and townships, ensuring basic needs of residents, while striving to maintain production and prevent supply disruption. Mãi also suggested the health ministry, localities and agencies assist the city in personnel and equipment for pandemic prevention and control work at this critical period. Now back to the COVID-19 situation in the country. Vietnam will deploy troops to industrial Binh Duong province, a major manufacturing hub in the Southeast Asian country, to help contain an expected 50,000 additional coronavirus infections there over the next 2 weeks, the government said on Thursday. Binh Duong is adjacent to virus epicenter Ho Chi Minh City and has so far recorded 81,000 COVID-19 cases, a third of which were detected in the past week, according to Vietnam's health ministry. The province is home to production facilities for dozens of major firms, including South Korea's Kumho Tire and Tetra Pak, the world's largest food packaging company. The province also hosts a string of suppliers for Samsung Electronics and Pegatron, a key supplier for Apple. It is one of Vietnam's largest recipients of foreign investment after Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. Provincial authorities are preparing for a worst-case scenario within which cases could exceed 150,000. The government said in a statement on its website, the number refers to a contingency plan and is not a projection. And another 2,000 troops will be sent to Ho Chi Minh City to support the fight against coronavirus, the government statement recently said, along with 50 mobile medical stations and 50 ambulances. Vietnam has deployed soldiers to the streets of Ho Chi Minh City to help enforce the country's strictest movement curbs, yet which prevent people from leaving home, even for food. Ordinary residents who need to travel in the event of a medical emergency can still do so, but the military has taken over the distribution of food in the most parts of the city. After successfully containing the pandemic for much of last year, Vietnam has been battling a surge in COVID-19 cases driven by the highly contagious Delta variant of the virus. The country has recorded a total of 381,000 cases, most of which were detected in Ho Chi Minh City and its surrounding provinces since late April. Vietnam has one of Asia's lowest inoculation rates, with just over 2% of its 98 people fully vaccinated. Cuba will supply large quantities of its homegrown COVID-19 vaccine, Abdala, to Vietnam and also transfer the production technology to the Southeast Asian country by the end of the year, the health ministry said on Tuesday. After successfully containing the disease for much of the pandemic, Vietnam has been struggling to control its worst outbreak to date, with a spike in infections and deaths ramping up pressure on authorities to speed up vaccinations. Cuba has said its 3-shot Abdala vaccine was 92.28% effective against the coronavirus in last-stage clinical trials in June. Vietnam has so far signed deals for recombinant DNA protein and mRNA vaccine technology transfer, and is also in talk with U.S. company Pfizer about locating a vaccine plant in the country. The Southeast Asian country has secured more than 23 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines and expects to receive at least 50 million doses in the fourth quarter, the health ministry said. And at the same time, Australia has promised to deliver more than 400,000 AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine doses to Vietnam this week to help the country fight against the pandemic. In a joint media release on August 26th, Australian Foreign Minister Marin Spain and Minister for International Development and the Pacific, Zed Sasilja, said the delivery is the first installment towards Australia's commitment of 1.5 million AstraZeneca doses to be shared this year with Vietnam, a close friend and strategic partner. It is in addition to Australia's existing 40 million Australian dollars package of vaccine-related support to Vietnam. Australia is partnering with UNICEF to procure additional doses to support Vietnam's COVID-19 response and providing funding for syringes, training of healthcare workers, fridges to maintain cold chain storage, and support for the vaccine rollout in remote provinces. The batch brings the total number of doses that Australia has shared with the Pacific and Southeast Asia to over 2 million. This is part of Australia's commitment to sharing at least 20 million doses with the region by mid-2022. Le Van Cong on August 26 secured a silver medal for Vietnam in the men's 49kg powerlifting at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics. He succeeded in all the three lifts of 165 kg, 170 kg, and 173 kg. Meanwhile, Jordan's Karada Omasami Hamadesh won the gold medal in the category, though his best lift is also 173 kg, since he managed to lift 170 kg right from the first time. The bronze medal went to Mamdov Bavin of Azerbaijan with the best lift of 156 kg. Prior to the 2020 Games, Cong was a Paralympics champion in the 49 category with a lift of 183 kg, also a Paralympic record. Previously, he set a world record of 183.5 kg in this category in 2017. Now that has wrapped up FBNC News this week. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.